Hey guys, what's up, and welcome to my thoughts on the second race of this year's condensed F1 season, the 2020 Styrian Grand Prix. It may not have been as dramatic as what we saw last week at the Red Bull Ring, but overall I would still say it was a pretty solid race with a lot of great moments throughout. So without further ado, let's begin with lap 1 and the two Ferraris of Vettel and Leclerc crashing into each other and both retiring literally 30 seconds into the race. 2020 really hasn't been Ferrari's year so far, has it? If you told someone last year that after 2 races Ferrari are still stuck down in 5th, they probably wouldn't believe you. And rightfully so, because I don't think anybody could have expected Ferrari's 2020 car to be this far off the pace, and a double DNF really isn't helping that predicament. Back to the incident itself, and personally I think it was more Leclerc's fault than Vettel's in this particular case. It was such an optimistic move from so far back, and it was a massive risk to go for such an outlandish dive bomb on the opening lap no less. I think this can be put down to a lack of experience from Leclerc, not to say that he's that inexperienced because he is a very competent driver, but this collision could have been easily avoided. Going back to Ferrari itself, and would it be fair to say that of the 4 power units their one is probably the worst, as none of the Ferrari cars seem particularly competitive at all at the moment. None of the 6 Ferrari powered cars scored points yesterday, and granted the 2 Ferraris probably would have, but would they have been on the podium after that pace in qualifying and practice? Probably not. Now moving on, and before I go any deeper into talking about the race, I want to talk about qualifying, specifically that absolutely incredible drive from Hamilton in the rain. I'm quite neutral when it comes to F1, but even if you were the biggest Hamilton hater in the world, it's hard to acknowledge what an amazing pole position he showed in quali. Even in the rain, it's still unbelievable to see pole position taken by a whole 1.2 seconds, and that just goes to show how skilled Hamilton is in that kind of weather. Now coming back onto the race, and at around the middle stages of the race, there really wasn't a whole lot happening, apart from a couple midfield overtakes here and there. We also got to see a pretty good battle between Lando Norris and Sergio Perez for P8, which is always great to see. But then we got treated to an absolutely amazing wheel-to-wheel battle between Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen for second place. What a great battle that was. Verstappen is a driver who never seems to back off from a challenge, and this duel with Bottas really showed just that. Moving on, and one thing I quickly want to talk about is just how many cars were being overtaken into turn 4 before even reaching the braking zone. I don't know what it is about that third DRS zone, but in my opinion it should be made much shorter and much less powerful, because moves were being completed way before the braking zone, and it killed what could have been some potentially great battles. Anyway, moving on from that and coming on to another great part of the race, I want to talk about that epic final couple of laps between Norris, Perez, Stroll and Ricciardo. It began with Ricciardo and Stroll both locking up into turn 3, allowing Lando to take Ricciardo down the inside, before an almost incredible move on Stroll round the outside of turn 4. And then on the final lap, Lando takes Stroll into turn 4 and manages to get past the damage racing point of Sergio Perez on the final corner of the final lap to take P5 right at the end. Once again, a great drive from Lando, but you have to feel bad for Perez after he had pretty much been dominating the midfield that whole race, and he definitely deserved that driver of the day. Another unlucky driver was unfortunately Carlos Sainz. He was set to have a great result of P6, maybe even P5, until that disastrous pit stop ruined his race. Carrying on with Carlos Sainz, and I feel so sorry for him because right now at least his current McLaren is quicker than the team he's joining next year, so he's probably regretting signing that contract for 2021. And a crazy stat from this race is that it's the first time McLaren has achieved 2 consecutive fastest laps since 2011. I said it last race and I'll say it again, it's astounding how much progress McLaren have made over such a short time, and I can't wait to see them back at the front in the near future. Now to summarise everything on the 2020 Styrian Grand Prix, it definitely wasn't as dramatic as last week's Austrian Grand Prix, although that's not saying a whole lot because of how unbelievably good that race was, but the Styrian Grand Prix still was a pretty solid race, and I think it would be hard to make a complaint. And finally, coming on to my predictions I made for the Styrian Grand Prix last video, let's see how many came true and how many were complete rubbish. My first prediction was that Bottas would win the Styrian Grand Prix, and that was obviously a no. My second was that Albon would finally score his debut podium in F1, and unfortunately that was also a no. My third was that best of the rest would be in McLaren, and it was, with Lando Norris taking P5 from Perez on the final corner. My fourth prediction was that Lewis Hamilton would be on pole position, and he definitely was with that unbelievable drive in the rain. And my final prediction was that George Russell would beat Latifi in all of practice, qualifying and the race, and this also came true. Kind of. You see, Russell did indeed beat Latifi in every session he entered, but in FP1 he was replaced by Jack Aitken, and of course nobody entered final practice because of the rain. So I don't know if this prediction counts, but I'm still gonna say that it was another yes. Anyway, now it's time for me to make 5 predictions for next week's Grand Prix at the Hungaroring, just to look back on like I did just now. Prediction 1, the race will be incredibly boring, and I hope I'm proven wrong with this, but the Hungaroring really doesn't have the best track record. Prediction 2, a Red Bull will manage to take pole position. Prediction 3, at least one of the Ferraris won't score points. Prediction 4, Daniel Ricciardo will be best of the rest. And prediction 5, I'm going to go with the same one again. Alex Albon will go on to claim his first podium in F1. But anyway guys, that's it for my thoughts on the 2020 Styrian Grand Prix. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you want to share your thoughts as well. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!